Hey guys, I thought it would be a neat idea to talk about kind of the moment that I fell in love with the game of soccer. I think I'm fortunate that there was an actual moment in time that I can remember that I knew that was it, and it was the summer of 1990. So I had started playing soccer, as a kid, probably late 80s, 88, 89, just a kid. But then I remember the summer of 90 for Italy 90 like so vividly. Like I can remember the goosebumps I would get when the Citizen Watch commercials came on and the ball would fly through the streets of Italy for the opening sequence. Um,
To be number one, winning again and again, reaching higher in the blue Italian sky.
all the games. It was a coach actually. It was one of our first soccer coaches for my brother and I, that had a big satellite dish in his yard, which was the only way to get soccer games, which we didn't have. And he taped all the games on VHS tapes, and so we had all these stacks of tapes with the white labels. Argentina versus England, and Germany versus Italy, and all the games we had them on. And I remember watching all the games and all the amazing players that were in that World Cup, like Ruud Gullit and Marco van Basten on Holland, and Lothar Matthäus and Jurgen Klinsmann, who's one of my favorite players for Germany. It's funny. I loved the celebration that Klinsmann, where he would slide after he scored. What other players? Diego Maradona, and with Claudio Caniggia, Argentina. So I remember that was it that summer, watching those games, watching the U.S. in that game, Eric Winalda and Tony Meola, and all the U.S. finally making its appearance back in the World Cup for the first time since 1950. So it was so cool to see all the passion, from people with the nations, because obviously I didn't remember '86. I was too little for Mexico '86 World Cup, but that summer was it. That's when I knew from then on that was the game I loved. So it was the game. I feel like I've been fortunate to have been able to go around the world, lived in Bolivia, Ireland, Scotland, been all over the U.S., and the driving force behind all of those moves, all of my experiences, it all came back to soccer. And so I think it's really cool. I'm appreciative of the fact that I can remember that summer, and that was it for me. I was sold. That was it. I even now, recent World Cups, I can remember working camps and what have you in the summer, thinking, what are we doing? These kids aren't watching the World Cup, like the greatest events ever. The moment that I knew I fell in love with a game was watching the World Cup. So it's always boggles my mind when, there's other things happening you can't watch it, because for me it's such a good connection. Like even with my family, I remember watching the games, and my mom and my dad putting out all these snacks for us to eat while we pop in these tapes, which aren't even live, and watch the games. And what an experience. So that's my moment. So tell me about yours. Can you remember a specific time or an event or an experience that you had, that you knew right then that was when you fell in love with the game of soccer? let's pass some positive news on today. Tell me about your love affair with the game.